getting into the top prop bets in college basketball, NHL, NBA, and a little bit of PGA today. If you guys enjoy this coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. All right, everyone, so getting into the board for today, it is a very, very straightforward board, kind of your typical Saturday board, where there's just going to be a lot of solid bets that we get throughout the day, it seems like. Right before I started this video, I noticed a lot of the NHL props that we were getting out there that were very good had thus been propped up. That's okay. We'll probably get some more throughout the day. We do have some good college basketball props and a lot of good NBA props. So yesterday, we were able to go with a clean sweep, not only on PrizePicks, but Underdog. That was pretty awesome. And although the weather outside where I'm at right now is very cold, freaking snowed, guys. I had to shovel this morning. It was terrible. That's about the only thing that's been cold this week, because all profit this week, which is pretty awesome. That being said, like, it's been a great week, right? Don't be shocked if just there's some random variance that comes in, some random regression. Like, you're not just going to run this pure hot, right? Going back to the UCLA game, going 5 for 5 there, then 3 for 3 yesterday on both Underdog and PrizePicks, due to have some regression. Okay, that's just going to happen. But we'll go through the same process like we typically do, and hopefully we'll be able to find some winners. So let's go ahead and select college basketball. And guys, I'm pretty close to getting the MLB props loaded in here for the opening part of the season. Excited for that. But looking at it right now, like, it's a pretty solid board in terms of how PrizePicks has it set up in their favor, I should say. Because right now, as it sits, the best bet that we're going to get is John L. Davis over 1.5 assists at minus 143. It's literally the best one that we're getting. No under bets that we want to attack. And there is a little bit of discrepancies across the sports books, but these are all kind of pushes. Like Smith over 8.5 points. PrizePicks has this at 8. And that's going to be the theme, like right here. So if you like any of these, sure, go ahead and use them. But none of those are elite. And that's going to be the same for a bunch of the underbets. So as it sits right now, it doesn't feel like we have any like really hammer home bets. Now, this can change throughout the day, and it probably will. I do want to point out a lot of people are probably going to be excited about betting on Noel, right? If you are going to do that, I would suggest doing fantasy score, just because the difference isn't that great. And if he's going to be getting a ton of assists again, the over and under for assists is set at 7.5. And so at 7.5 assists, if he just gets that, obviously half, that's not going to happen, but just doing the math, if we times that by 1.5, that's 11.125 points. So we are getting an increase in points there, obviously. So I don't mind the fantasy score there. If he gets a steal or something like that, that's going to be big, but really don't have any that we should really go in on, unless you're trying to do a game stack. But it seems like a tight board for college basketball as it sits right now. I do expect that to change throughout the day. So now looking to add some NHL props. So looking at it, the best one that we are currently getting is going to be Brian Rust over 2.5 shots on goal. And that's the thing. We have a bunch of like really solid ones across the board. Now, I will say that these have already fluctuated up and down twice this morning, where they started at like minus 144 and they went to minus 140, and now they're at like minus 136. So these are probably going to fluctuate throughout the day. It's typical, right? But looking at it, we can see kind of why this is being favored over. Out of the last 3 games, he's been over at 3 straight games. So, potentially a good one there. Just be on the watch list if this gets over minus 136. Then we could start attacking that one. We got Malkin here at minus 135 as well. Patrick Kane, minus 135. So we have a bunch of decent ones out there right now. Like, I'm fine with those ones. Like I said, to start the day, these ones were a little bit higher. And then there is another one out here that is worth calling out. So Brad here is set at 2 shots on goal on PrizePicks. We can see the over. It's basically a push, but we can see the over is slightly favored at minus 110. To get over 2.5 shots on goal. Now, if anyone's a hockey fan, let us know if this is a good one or not. But to me, like, I get why it's a push, and I get probably why PrizePicks has it set at 2.0. But at the same time, the sportsbooks do have it set at 2.5, and they are slightly favoring the over. To me, time in and time again, if we kind of make a correct decision like this, more times than not, it's going to pay off. So to me, it seems like a correct kind of bet to make. It's not sexy on paper. We're not going to enjoy. We're not going to be excited making that click, but it does seem like the correct one. And then just looking at some other ones as well, like Perron, this is kind of a push for over 2.5 shots on goal. Very interesting there. So that's another one we could make. And then we do have some kind of interesting ones if you guys were trying to target some pushes. I don't mind that idea. We can see we're getting minus 200 on a bunch of shots on goal at at 1.5 here. So obviously PrizePicks has them bumped up a half a shot on goal, but these are pretty much just being valued as pushes. So there are a lot of pushes available on this slate. So if there's one of those that you see that you like, by all means, go ahead and use that. So getting into NBA, I kind of am excited for this because there is a great stack and opportunity, and we can already see it. So Tyler Hero minus 144 to get 2.5 threes. To me, this one's very intriguing. And right now, as it sits, guys, like we don't have that much injury news. It seems like a lot of the players that sat out on the front end of back-to-back yesterday are going to be active today. So, obviously it's a wait and see approach. Weekend slates, we never exactly know what's going to happen with injuries. So don't know that for sure. But we can see Tyler Hero, I would say he's basically a lock to get 2 threes unless he's just extremely cold. So I like that floor that he has. And then the chances of him just getting another one, I like that. And part of the reason why I like this one is the fact that we should be able to stack this game. And if you guys are kind of unfamiliar with what I mean about a stack, go to the start of yesterday's video where I kind of mentioned the breakdown of the stack with how we were able to stack that UCLA Gonzaga game to hit a 6 for 6. It's more or less you're chasing a game that's supposed to be close, and in one in which we are getting a decent amount of value. We really just need to get lucky with one other pick. And so we can see this game. It's close enough, 5.5. Not the highest over and under, but there's not too many great games on the slate. The best one would be this Pacers-Atlanta game, but we're still waiting on injury news there. So if we just pull up Tyler Hero as well, we can see he is shooting the 3-ball a decent amount. We just need literally this. We need 30, 300, and basically 300% from three-point range. Get 10 up, I feel good with that. But we can see consistently gets over here. Like more times than not, this is going to be the correct one. And if we are seeing that the potential to do game stack is there, we like that. Now, one of them that we're seeing is going to be Nick Claxton over points, rebounds, and assists. This is set at minus 139. So we're getting 2 very favorable bets. 2 bets in which, using the odds, we are gaining an edge on in the long term on PrizePicks. Now, whether that hits today or not, obviously we'll wait and see. Like I said, hot streak right now. I kind of expect these over bets that we've been hitting to kind of just naturally start missing because we're chasing bets that are, 60 to 53% likely to hit. The fact that those bets haven't missed as much recently, well, it's due to come back down. Like, it's just a numbers thing. But looking at, you can see why we're liking the stack here. Tyler Hero, Nick Claxton, these 2 teams are playing each other. And what I find extremely interesting about this Claxton prop is he's been over it the last 4-5 games, really. And sure, against the Kings, against OKC, you expect him to do that. But he did against Denver and Cleveland twice as well. This is a very strange number. And I know Miami has Kevin Love there now and whatnot. Just another big presence there. But Claxton has been going off. And as long as the minutes have been there as well, he's really been productive. And so let's just confirm his minutes here. Scroll down to the bottom just to make sure. 30 minutes. So we can see all the metrics would suggest that he should be over, at least close to it. So the fact that he's slightly projected under it, I'm fine with going the over. And remember, the projection data that I have is just based off of season averages. It hasn't fully adjusted for the Nets without Kyrie Irving, like the averages haven't without Kyrie Irving, without Kevin Durant. It hasn't fully adjusted for that just yet. And then with that, we have some other bets that we could potentially attach to this game as well. We can see 2 favorable odd bets that we are getting. Mikal Bridges over 23.5 points. The average sportsbook line has it set at 24, but that's favored at minus 124. So we're getting a pretty big edge there. And then with that as well, we have Bam over points, rebounds, and assists as well. Basically the same thing we got going there. And on paper, this one's slightly better because the prop line difference is about 0.67, and that's at minus 124. So we're getting a pretty big edge there. And that's where I'm saying, we are getting a pretty decent stacking opportunity for the Nets and Miami. And so literally, I think those 4 would kind of be my bets of the day because on paper, it's the best one that we're getting. It's the best expected value that we're getting on this slate. Now, looking for some other bets that we could potentially use. This Miles Turner one, rebounds is set at 7 on the average sportsbook line. PrizePicks has it set at 7.5, so a slight edge there. We can see that is basically going to be a push, so not a terrible one there. And then we are getting some other decent over bets that we could potentially roll with. CJ McCollum over points, rebounds. We have another Mikal Bridges one that's basically a push. So yeah, there's a bunch of decent opportunities. And as it sits right now, I'm recording this typically a little bit earlier than I would. So we're not getting any fancy score props. And maybe throughout the day we'll get some, but as it sits right now, these are the best ones that I'm getting. In terms of PGA props, just real quick, I'm sort of taking the wait and see approach on how the morning plays at the Corrales. If it plays more difficult than it did yesterday. Yesterday, it was astronomically easier than expected. Super easy scoring. That's not the norm. And so if we see that the course plays closer to its norm, these would all be valued a little bit too high. but I'm very curious to see what the scoring is going to be like for the morning wave. And for those of you that aren't familiar, there are morning and afternoon waves. And just looking at it right now, what are we seeing? We're seeing that it's very scoring. All these golfers that have started the rounds are under par currently. And then just looking at players that are over par, there's only three players that are over par. So it does seem like we probably wouldn't want to be using these ones. And so we'd want to probably just bet the under on strokes. Someone like Wyndham Clark, someone like Dietrich, maybe Ben Martin, maybe Matt Wallace. Like these players that were good plays on paper coming into the week, those are the ones that we'd want to bet the under on. Chances are Clark would be a push. And then if it is playing that easy, these kind of studs should be able to go low. And guys, for what it's worth, for this BAM prop, personally, I could see maybe Kevin Love sitting just randomly. You know, it's the back end of a back-to-back, I believe. Let me double check that. Actually, now that I'm saying that, I don't think it is. I think they didn't play yesterday. Let's see. They didn't. Okay, so never mind. They were one of the few teams that didn't. So my point is that Kevin Love has really kind of hindered BAM's upside recently. So that would be a reason if Kevin Love was randomly ruled out that benefit the BAM prop. So guys, I'll show you guys the bet of the day in just a second here, but if you want to attach Spencer Dinwiddie to it as well to get maybe a 6-legger out there, you could. And then same thing with Jimmy Butler as well. If the game's going to be close, and obviously if we're running out game stacks, I don't mind doing that. It does feel like we'd kind of be forcing it, really trying to get lucky there. But like I mentioned, like these are the best bets that we're getting on the day, just on paper as it sits right now. I kind of expect these all to get bumped throughout the day, especially the Tyler Hero one. So hopefully you guys are able to get this in before that changes. But that's all for today's video. Like I said, kind of been running hot recently, so expecting some sort of regression that is just naturally going to happen. But hopefully, you know, it is the weekend slate. Typically Saturdays and Sundays are the best days, or just the weekend in general. So I think we'll get some good favorable odds throughout the day. But best of luck today, guys. Let's have a good slate, and as always, let's keep cashing.